defenses who have propelled veteran coach Bobby Stewart's team to its first ever state championship appearance. It's the high-powered offense of Marcus versus the bruising defense of Hastings in the 5A Division II Texas Bowl, next on Fox.
In Houston, Texas, Fox Sports Southwest presents the 1997 Class 5A Division II Texas Bowl. It's the Marcus Marauders of Flower Mound taking on the Fighting Bears of Hastings High School in Alief. Hello again, everyone. I'm Craig Way along with Bucky Richardson. Another day of doubleheader action in the Astrodome. 5A Division II state championship matchup followed by the 4A Division II Texas Bowl. But Bucky, when we start with this 5A Division II Texas Bowl and begin with the visitors for Marcus High, they have an outstanding passing attack, but their running game's pretty good as well.
You bet they do. Steven Ennis is the all-time leading rusher, a record he set as a junior. He's rushed for 1,000 yards in each of his 3 varsity seasons. In 2 games in the playoffs, he scored 5 touchdowns. He's exciting.
Now, even though the Marcus Marauders can run the football, what they really like to do is throw the football, and they have the quarterback to do it in Spencer Stack.
You bet. Spencer Stack has had an outstanding season. He's a big left-handed quarterback. He's always got 4 receivers in his route, so he's always got somewhere to throw the football. Every 11 attempts, he seems to find a way to score a touchdown.
Now, not only does Marcus do it with offense, the Marauders can really make you pay defensively, and David Allen, their middle linebacker, is the anchor.
You bet. He's 6'2", 245 pounds. He's a 4-year starter, and you'll see him play tight end. He's a heck of an athlete.
Alief Hastings comes in as a bit of a surprise. They surprised several folks in getting all the way to their first ever state title matchup. However, they do it with a defense that creates turnovers, and then when they get it in the hands of the offense, they like to give it to their outstanding tailback, Jamil Tharp.
Janelle Tharp is a game breaker. He's 5'7", 150 pounds. Last week, he had 2 touchdown runs over 65 yards. He's averaging 14 yards a carry in the playoffs.
Defensively, they have an outstanding turnover ratio, and part of that reason is because of the play of their bookend defensive ends.
Double trouble is right. Colquitt and Cibula have put pressure on opposing quarterbacks all year long. This is their 4th pass-oriented offense they'll face this year, and as a result of that pressure, their defense has come out with 52 turnovers.
Quite a contrast between these two teams. Now, our Jim Knox will be on the sidelines today looking at the contrast between the schools. Jim?
All right, Craig, expect a track meet on the dome turf today because both clubs possess 2 explosive offenses. For Marcus, as you mentioned, they love to throw the football. Now, I talked to Spencer Stack, the All-State quarterback, prior to today's game. He said his favorite play is what they call a cruise. What happens is Spencer takes the snap. He's a great drop-back passer. He looks right for his first receiver. That is David Foster. If he's not open on the 5 and in, he goes on top to John Jeffries, the big wide receiver, going on the post play. If he's not open, he looks to the left for the other wide receiver going on another post route. And if he's not open, he hits Ryan Smith on the 5 and out. It's that simple. You got to love those options. Meanwhile, Alief Hastings, they like to run the football behind their big offensive line, and they're averaging over 30 points per game. So 2 very explosive offenses today at the Dome. It's Alief Hastings and Flower Mound Marcus for the Division II 5A State Football Championship, and it's coming up next.
Let's head down to Miami for a Fox Sports News inside look at last Sunday's Dolphins game.
Well, Kevin, it was a tough game, but we gave 110% out there. Now we've just got to take it one game at a time and not look past our next opponent. We just have to keep our eye on the ball, stay focused, and always remember there's no I in team.
Wow, one interview, 6 cliches.
He's a cliche Hall of Famer.
Texas Bowl on Fox Sports Southwest is brought to you by the New Dodge and your Texas Dodge dealer. By Gatorade, life's a sport, drink it up. By Lowe's Home Improvement Warehouse, Lowe's knows teamwork. By Pepsi, who invites you to join Generation Next. By Sonic, America's drive-in. And by Southwestern Bell, your friendly neighborhood global communications company.
Hastings is in the house, and so too are the Marcus Marauders. And we're about got set to begin the 5A Division II Texas Bowl. Marcus wins the toss. They elect to defer the option to the second half, so Jay Kelly will kick it off for the Marauders. Jamil Farp is the deep man, but this is a short kick and a fair catch called for and made out at the 26-yard line for the Hastings Bears, and that was made by Rufus Godley. We'll take a look at the Hastings offense, led by quarterback Jacob Smith as he brings them onto the field, and not a high completion percentage, but he has thrown for more than 1,000 yards this season, 9 touchdowns, does have the 11 interceptions. As we mentioned, Hastings does like to get the ball to Jamil Farp when they have the opportunity, and Jacob Smith will bring the Bears to the line. First play of the 5A Division II Texas Bowl. We're happy you joined us this afternoon. And it does go to Jamil Farp on first down, and not much there because Chris Bellows, the right tackle, swallowed him up, and that went to the fullback Nick Jones, who lined up as the lone setback. Rest of that Hastings offense, the offensive line, the big guy is the right tackle Don Hilliard at 6 feet and 320 pounds. There you see the backs and receivers. Andy Rivadeneira caught 2 touchdown passes a week ago from the tight end spot. And, of course, Jamil Farp, the tailback, Nick Jones, the fullback. And your quarterback right there, there's your fullback, Nick Jones. The quarterback is Jacob Smith. Second down after no gain on the play. And, again, nothing doing there this time. The carry to Marcellus Chapman. And Tim McNeely comes over to make the Marauders stop. For Marcus, defensively, McNeely, Bellows, and Bryce Kelly, son of a former National Football League player. The linebackers, Larry Skembry there, along with David Ellen. We told you about him. And Nathan Dawkins, the number 2 tackler behind Ellen, and Richard Grant. In the secondary, Lucas Prater's just a freshman. He's got 7 interceptions this year, along with Cranack, Smith, and Morgan back there. Third down and 12 now for the Bears. Smith to throw under pressure, and it's incomplete. Tried to find the flanker, Joseph Manjack, and he was flushed out of the pocket there, Bucky, and had to get rid of it in a hurry.
You bet. I've been very impressed with Jacob Smith. Watching him warm up today, the kid can throw the football. He's strong arm. Yeah, he's only thrown for 41% this season, but hey, he's a player, and he's going to make things happen for that offense.
Bobby Stewart, you see the head coach of the Alief Hastings Bears in his 15th season. 88-68-4 the overall record. Has had the Bears in the playoffs 6 of the last 8 years. The punt coming from Jesse Torres. Ian Bunn awaits the kick. High kick, but not real deep. And this one will take the AstroTurf bounce, and a great Hastings bounce it is. All the way down to the 23-yard line, and that's where the Marcus Marauders will have it. A 53-yard punt with the help of the carpet. And the Marauders will go on offense. You see how they got here. They had a close call against Irving MacArthur in Bye District, then really aired it out against a previously unbeaten Halton team. Ran past Amarillo. Impressive win on the road at Abilene to defeat Cooper when Ennis scored all 5 touchdowns for the Marauders. And then really impressive in humbling John Tyler. Hastings gaining strength as they went along, playing some very tough teams like Beaumont, Westbrook, and New Braunfels, forcing 5 turnovers a week ago. For the Marauders, it's Spencer Stack leading them to the line of scrimmage. We mentioned he's thrown for more than 4,000 yards this year. And the first offensive play for the Marauders is a run. The toss to Ennis. And Steven Ennis for a quick gain of 4 yards for the Marauders before Blyden Dania and Richard Cox make the tackle. There's Spencer Stack. And you can see he has the impressive numbers. Look at that, 43 touchdowns. For Marcus, the Marauders on the offensive line did have to make one change today. The left guard is Brandon Jenkins in for Josh Wade. Tackles, Danny Murphy and Lucky Ivy, you see there. Josh Raybuck is playing with a very sore left ankle. And Jack Reniger is the guard. Ennis, Jeffrey's back after a sore hamstring. It hampered him a week ago. David Foster, Ryan Smith, Ian Bunn, and Spencer Stack will throw to all of those guys and then some. Meantime, we've got one man down on the field, and this is Emmanuel Agiotto, the strong safety. And Agiotto played a big part in Hastings' win in the semifinals a week ago over New Braunfels. Hastings was up 32-23 with about 7 minutes to go. New Braunfels was driving, had it down inside the 15-yard line. And there was a big hit on the quarterback. Cliff Kingsbury fumbled the football, and Agioto picked it up, ran it 83 yards for a touchdown, and that blew the game open. Bucky Richardson, your keys to the game.
Well, let's talk Marcus first. Pass protection. Tackles Lucky Ivy and Danny Murphy must do a good job blocking Colquitt and Cibola, the big defensive ends for Hastings. They get that done today, they'll have a chance to win. Craig, back to you.
It'll be 2nd down and 6, and the pass incomplete. Batted at the line of scrimmage. Blind Dania, the weak side linebacker, caught a piece of it. There was pressure from the tackle, Ricky Cash. Other keys to this game, Bucky.
Don't allow the big play. Hastings has been very hot through their playoff run. Marcus must get control early and don't give up the big 70 or 80-yard touchdown. For Hastings, keep their offensive momentum. They've averaging just over 300 yards per game in the season. They're up to 360 yards per game in the playoffs. They're averaging 39 points a game in the playoffs, up from 24 in the regular season.
From the shotgun on 3rd down, pass caught by Ennis. Steven Ennis still on his feet and has the 1st down, and then more. Ennis all the way out to the 47-yard line. Give him 19 yards on the little swing pass, and Brian Johnson made the tackle. Bucky, this looked like Spencer Stack was in jail, and Steven Ennis really made it into something special.
Well, that's the great thing. Well, having all these receivers out in the field like that, you can leak Steven Ennis out of the backfield. He's caught 23 passes this year, so he's accustomed to catching the football, and you can see there he can make things happen when he gets in the open field.
Hugh Brittain, the only coach the Marauders have ever known in their 12 seasons of varsity football. 96 victories, he's coached them all. 1st and 10, Marauders from their 46. Stack down the middle, and the ball caught in a nice route run. Ryan Smith, the ex-receiver, on the catch down to the 39-yard line as he picks up a gain of 15 and a Marauder 1st down. Here's the Hastings Bear defense. The ends we told you about, Cibola and Colquitt, huge playoff numbers. Cash and Robert West, the tackles. Richard Cox is their leading tackle. Blyden Dania, also a big contributor. And Albert, the outside linebacker. Agioto, you saw, was banged up a moment ago, but he's all right and back out there. Priestley, Kabina Amu, and also Brian Johnson to complete the secondary. 1st and 10, Marauders from the Hastings 39. And that's Ennis for a couple, maybe 3 yards. Down to the 36-yard line. Marauders head coach Hugh Brittain was asked to compare this football team with the one he got right to the brink of a state title 2 years ago, the one that lost to San Antonio Roosevelt. But the question is, are there similarities between the two?
Not winning by the margins, and we don't have the high rankings and a lot of the fame that we had back with that team. But when you sit back and look at it, the numbers were almost scoring as many points. We've got as many yards. We're beating teams by, soundly in the playoffs like we did that year. So I think the two teams are very comfortable.
Hugh Brittain was talking about winning by big margins, and Steven Ennis is certainly a reason for that. He picks up 4 yards there. On that carry, it'll bring up 3rd down and about 4. Cox and Albert make the tackle. He can bring a smile to Hugh Brittain's face. Steven Ennis over 1,800 yards. You see it there, and 25 touchdowns. Really does give a pass-oriented offense, Bucky, the extra threat when you have that kind of running back behind you.
Absolutely it does. And he can make things happen. That draw play, you'll see them run that a bunch. It keeps the defense honest.
3rd and a long 3 for the Marauders, and the pass outside and then dropped and then covered up by Ian Bunn. But Bunn is going to be short of the 1st down after losing control of the football. It only goes for a 1-yard gain, and now the Marauders face an interesting 4th down.
You can see Stack here sits in the pocket very calmly, got a lot of stuff going on around him, throws a strike. That's just one of the things we talked about, Craig, in the open is turnovers. Anytime you can knock that ball loose like that, Hastings has done a great job the last 3 weeks of that. I look for them to keep trying to strip the football from those small receivers.
Bears have forced 52 turnovers this season. Marcus is going to go for it on 4th and 3. There was movement there in the line. The question was on whom, as the ball went to Steven Ennis. Now we'll check the penalty. We'll see if this goes against. This might have been against Hastings. Someone might have jumped. Perhaps Robert West, the right tackle. Here's the call. And you see it is offsides against the Hastings Bears. So it will be a first down for the Marauders. And Spencer Stack does a good job in drawing them offsides, Bucky.
I tell you, coaches don't mind when defensive players jump off sides. It makes them mad. But I think when a nose tackle or defensive tackle jumps off sides, everybody in the stadium gets mad. You've got to keep your eye on the football. There's no excuse. You're the closest defender to it. Watch the football.
Didn't look like Bobby Stewart was very happy with the way that one went. 5-yard walk-off, and it's another Marauder first down. First penalty of the afternoon, and it aids Marcus on 4th down and 3. Now they have it 1st and 10. Just underway, 6 minutes, 44 seconds here in the first quarter. 5A Division II title on the line. One of these two schools will win its first ever state championship today. Stack from the play fake. This time got the man open, and this one is going to be a Marcus Marauder touchdown. Tyler Edwards, the tight end, goes 27 yards, and the Marauders strike first.
This offense is all about execution. You can see here Stack does a good job looking for the open man, finds Edwards wide open down the middle. That's the great thing about this run and shoot, and that's what I call it. Anytime you're sending 4 receivers out, it's the run and shoot. There's always somebody open, and it's up to the quarterback to find that man, and he did on that play.
Jay Kelly for the extra points, and it's good. Marauders waste no time in moving it 77 yards in 8 plays. Marauders on the touchdown pass from Stack lead it 7-0. That young man has just thrown his 44th touchdown pass of the season. Spencer Stack goes up top.
Well, Craig, one of my keys to the game for Marcus was pass protection. You tell me here, Stack's sitting in the pocket, nobody around him. He's got all day to find the open man, and he gets it done.
7-0 Marauders, and there's the young man who caught it, Tyler Edwards. And now the Marauders will kick it off. Again, Tharp the deep back, but again, Jay Kelly not wanting to kick it deep. And that one is fielded by Rufus Godley. Godley with some running room out over the 30 and out to the 34-yard line, a 13-yard return. Well, Bobby Stewart, the Alief Hastings head coach, knows that this is a first-time experience for his players, and certainly he's excited, and he says so too are his Bears.
Well, they're excited. You know, they're extremely excited. But I'll tell you what, they've kept things in pretty good perspective. And after each game, they're excited, but they haven't just gone crazy like, you know, this is the last we're going to get a chance to play in. And I've been amazed at how they've stayed focused. And their ultimate goal has been to win the state championship. And we have that opportunity, and you can't ask for much more than that.
That's Jamil Tharp on first down, and Tharp, who adds excitement to the Alief Hastings lineup, quickly takes it for 7 yards around the left side before Nathan Dawkins makes the tackle for the Marauders. Gain of 7 and brings up 2nd down and 3 as we approach the midway mark of the first quarter. You know, Bobby Stewart's just one of those guys that just goes right along and tries to keep everything in perspective, and he has that to digest now that Spencer Stack was 4 or 5 on that drive.
Craig, they can cover a lot of ground in a hurry with that passing attack.
Yeah, they prove it. And here's a pass on 2nd down, and the quick slant to Joseph Manjack. Skeet Smith, the right corner, made the tackle, but Manjack has 8, and that's the first Hastings first down of the day. Nice route here run by Joseph Manjack.
Well, for a quarterback, Craig, confidence is so important in a game like this. Jacob Smith there throwing a high percentage pass, getting a completion, getting some confidence. He can play. I was really, really impressed with that kid.
Rufus Godley is one split receiver. This time they go to the ground, and this is Kilmick Williams, the fullback, who is stacked up by Bryce Kelly. Loss of 2. Kelly was all over him here, and there's the big right tackle we were telling you about.
Well, that's every bit of 320 pounds, number 69, Don Hilliard, standing up David Ellen, the big linebacker for Marcus.
Well, Hilliard did his job, but someone else did not catch Bryce Kelly coming in, and he drops Kilmick Williams for the 2-yard loss. 2nd and 12. This is Marcellus Chapman. And Chapman also in trouble. McNeely holds him to no gain, and that Marcus defensive line has been very tough against the run, Bucky.
You bet. David Allen here said, all right, Don Hilliard, you got me last time, but watch this. We got a lot more football to play here today. He pursues down the line of scrimmage, steps up, makes the tackle. He's a great player.
3rd down and 12, and Tharp checks back in for Hastings, replacing Chapman, who had come on. There's David Allen. And the Bears have a 3rd and long situation. Jacob Smith looks over the Marcus defense. And the Bears will spread the field with 4 receivers. Smith going to go deep, and he's got Tharp open. And Tharp can't hold it. Oh, goodness. Jamil Tharp had only to waltz into the end zone had he held on to the football. Instead, it brings up 4th down.
Well, let's take a look, Craig. This might come back to haunt Hastings. Jamel Tharp right out of the backfield, right down the middle field. There's nobody there. Must have been a bust in coverage. Smith does a great job of just laying it up. Let Tharp go run under the football. Just drops the ball. And I tell you, he'll bounce back. He's a good player. He's been there for him all year long. They'll get more opportunities.
Jesse Torres will try to add to that outstanding first punt he had. Ian Bunn is the deep back awaiting the kick. Another high kick, not that deep, and Bunn calls for the fair catch and makes it at the 25-yard line. 27-yard punt, no return on the kick. Marcus will have its 2nd possession from the Marauder 25-yard line with 4 minutes and 18 seconds to go in the first quarter. And the Marauders on top of Alief Hastings. The score 7-0 Marauders on Fox.
Nothing good in the fridge? Try ours. Maybe a fresh sandwich, handmade with Healthy Choice deli meats. Diamond Shamrock, all you need.
4:18 to go in the first quarter. 2 years ago, Brittain's Marcus Marauders had to play from behind nearly the entire game against San Antonio Roosevelt and lost 17-10. But they're up early here, 7-0 in the 2nd possession of the game for Marcus. After moving it 77 yards in 8 plays for the touchdown the first time they had the football, and Stack right back to the air. Too much and picked off. This one is Kabina Amu with 1 man to beat. And Amu is down inside the 5-yard line. 40 yards on the interception return. Bucky Richardson, this is what the Hastings Bears do best.
That's right. I mentioned it earlier, 16 turnovers the last 3 weeks. This team is hot. This team is making plays. This team's playing the state championship. Stack here just lets the ball get away from him a little high. Bounce right into Amu's hands. As you can see here, he does the rest just trying to get to the end zone. But these type of plays are what you have to do to win state championship.
And you saw the initial hit was laid by the quarterback, Spencer Stack, right there. And Spencer is slow to get up.
Being a quarterback myself, whenever I threw an interception, you bet I wanted to get over there and rip his head off if I could. So Stack, obviously pretty upset, wants to go make the play.
He's going to get some help getting off the field as Spencer Stack. There you get a good look at Kabina Amu, who had the interception, and Spencer is in some pain.
Well, he probably doesn't practice those tackling drills every day like those linebackers do, but Spencer Stack, 4 for 6, 61 yards. Heck of a player. Also first team All-State, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, indeed.
Great season.
Alief Hastings now has a plus 19 turnover ratio, much to the chagrin of Brittain. And here come the Bears on 1st and goal from the Marauder 2. Their 3rd possession, and it's Tharp trying to turn it outside, but nowhere to run, and he in fact is brought down for a loss. Larry Skembry, the strong side linebacker, brings him down for a loss of 3 back to the 5-yard line. Nice pursuit by Skembry on the outside, the number 4 tackler. In fact, the Marcus linebackers, 3 of their top 4 tacklers are the linebackers. Bobby Stewart knows his team has an excellent shot to get a touchdown and tie it up.
Let's take a look here. It looks like his own player tackles him there, number 63. What a play.
There's a pass into the end zone and broken up. Nice play made by the right cornerback, Skeet Smith, to keep the ball out of the hands of Andy Rivadeneira.
The cornerback for Marcus here, Skeet Smith, does a good job anticipating the throw, anticipating the quick slant, steps in front, knocks the ball down.
All of a sudden, it's 3rd and goal at the 5, and let's go down to Jim Knox.
All right, Craig, on the play, what happened? Spencer hurt his back trying to make the tackle, but he said he's okay, and he's going to be back in the game. He said, no way I'm going to miss this one.
Partially on the tackle, Jim, and partially Nathan Roberts, the right guard, his teammate who bumped into him. 3rd and goal from the 5, and here is Smith in a world of trouble and lost the football. And the Marauders turn this one into 6 points. Tim McNeely is going to go 75 yards.
Let's take a look here. Smith is rolling to the left. Now the tight end is leaking out to the right. Marcus does a great job of picking the tight end up. Smith has nowhere to throw the football. In the meantime, they strip him of the football. And there you see Tim McNeely picking it up. The big defensive lineman lumbering down the field for 6 points. It's still the first quarter, and we've already seen 3-4 big plays.
Including a pair of turnovers, one for each team, and the Hastings turnover results in 6 Marcus points, but it remains at 6. The extra point is no good by Kelly.
Take another look, different angle. You can see he's rolling left. He's trying to look right to find the tight end down the field. Has nowhere to go, nowhere to run. Strip the football, and off he goes.
75 yards goes Tim McNeely to the end zone for the touchdown. Giving chase was Kilmick Williams, but McNeely is in. It's 13-0 Marcus. The extra point was no good. And with 3:06 to go in the first quarter, McNeely can use a breather.
Well, give Marcus some credit there. That was a heck of a defensive stand. The first, they tried to sweep to the left, and Marcus did a great job of stringing that thing out, and they lost a couple yards. Then Skeet Smith comes back, knocks down the quick slant play, and then there the big turnover for a touchdown. Give Marcus some credit. They get a lot of publicity for their offense, and rightfully so, but their defense has played outstanding all year as well.
13-0 now, and from 1st and goal at the 2 for Hastings turns into disaster. And you think about it, Bucky, Jamil Tharp open on the 2nd series, dropped the wide open pass, would have been a touchdown. Then the turnover that turns into an automatic 6 points for the Marauders.
Hastings has to be careful and don't panic here. As much as Marcus throws the football, turnovers can happen at any time, as we saw earlier. So Hastings needs to stay steady in the boat and don't panic.
Well, they just may have lost another one. That one came loose on the kickoff, a mad scramble for it, and if the Bears got it back, they got a mighty big break. Marcus says they
have the football.
And they do. Ahmad Roper lost the ball, and Chip Burt comes down for the fumble recovery for the Marcus Marauders.
Well, Craig, this is just no excuse. You practice this all year long. You prepared for this. You've got guys that are deep on the kick return that can catch the football. There's no excuse. That's a lack of concentration, and those kind of mistakes cost you football games, much less state championships.
All of a sudden, it is Marcus becoming the very opportunistic team, taking advantage of the turnovers, and Spencer Stack is back in at quarterback. Marauders up 13-0 and looking for more. Ennis. That time the Bears make the tackle. Well, it's usually Hastings that comes up with the turnovers and making the other team give the ball away, and we asked Bobby Stewart about that.
Oh, I think, we're aggressive on defense, and I think we've caused some of those just by being aggressive and hitting real hard. But, some of it may be luck. I don't know. Our kids believe that it's going to happen, and it's been happening. And I just hope it can happen here one more week, because I know we're going up against a very high-powered offense, and we'll need some turnovers to give us an opportunity to win the ball game.
So far, it's been Hastings giving up the turnovers, 2-1 for Marcus. And here is Ennis to score. 21 yards for Steven Ennis. And it's 19-0 Marcus.
Well, we talked about the draw play earlier, Craig. They don't have a handful of running plays to begin with, and they will continue to pound this draw play at you. Steven Ennis, great year. He's looking to have a big game here in the state championship.
Marauders going to go for 2 here after missing the extra point the last time out. And Stack will bring Marcus to the line. No surprise that he throws for it, and it's incomplete. Low pass intended for David Foster, his leading receiver, and the 2-point try is no good. But Marcus out to a commanding first quarter lead here, 19-0 with 2:09 to go in the first quarter. And Bucky Richardson, if you're Bobby Stewart, what do you tell your football team right now in trying to regroup his Hastings Bears?
Well, he mentioned earlier it might be a little bit of luck while they're in this football game. I disagree with that. Anytime you've got a guy like Terrence Colquitt, Nick Cibola, Richard Cox on your defense, you know how to stop opposing offenses, and they just need to settle down. I would think Marcus would become a little bit more conservative offensively, maybe not taking the chances in the passing game like they would be if it was a tighter ball game. So I think there's a lot of football left to play here, and Hastings just needs to quit making the mistakes and get to their offensive game plan and start doing the things that they've been doing to get them to this title game.
Bobby Stewart knows his team is in some trouble early on here and must respond.
At this point in the game, it's so important for your coach, like a Bobby Stewart, to go over, calm everybody down. Everybody's so excited and so intense. Sometimes it takes you a few minutes to calm down and get in your rhythm. And I think it's real important for the coach on the sidelines to calm those kids down and say, hey, look, let's continue to do what we've been doing to get us here.
Jay Kelly barely gets that kickoff underway, and look at this. Here comes the return. Rufus Godley is going to score on it. 57 yards. Bucky, we still are in the first quarter, aren't we?
It's unbelievable. Big play after big play after big play. Rufus Godley here. Marcus looks like they're just trying to kick it up there and go down there and hopefully the guy muffs it or just go make a play. It backfires. It backfires. And here you got 6 points going the other way, but we now see a flag down on the field.
Holding on the run back apparently, and that's going to nullify the kickoff return. It'll be at the 45-yard line. It was from the spot of the foul, and they mark it back to the Marcus 45. Now, Hastings will have good field position, but again, another disappointment for the Bears. When they finally do get it in the end zone, it's called back.
I think it's real important this series, Hastings at least gets some first downs and gets a little momentum offensively.
Tharp, and nothing doing. Nathan Dawkins, the linebacker, all over, maybe a yard for Jamil Tharp. That was about it. Less than 2 minutes to go in the first quarter. And it's dominating as the score would seem to indicate at 19-0. It's just been big plays and big breaks. There was the one very impressive Marcus drive, but they had the fumble return for the touchdown by McNeely, and then the fumbled kickoff by Hastings that set up the Ennis 21-yard run. 2nd and 9, Hastings. This time it's to Marcellus Chapman, and he's hit right at the line of scrimmage and might even have lost a yard. The rover, Richard Grant, on the tackle for the Marauders. Once again, Hastings in a 3rd and long.
Rover's right. He's coming right off Grant, right off the corner there, making the play in the backfield. Hastings has 1 returning offensive lineman, and that could be a big factor in this game.
3rd down and 10 now, and the Bears so far 0 for 3 in the 3rd down department. Less than a minute to go here in the first quarter. This time it is Smith in trouble and going to go down. Dawkins and Skimbrey, the linebacker, punch him in. One from the strong side, one from the weak side. It's a loss of 8.
We almost feel sorry for Jacob Smith here. He just has absolutely nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. Skembry and Dawkins off the corners on a blitz. Jacob Smith, all he can do is get on the ground.
But Nathan Dawkins has played an outstanding game so far, as have his linebacking teammates David Ellen and Larry Skembry. Punt coming now from Torres. And it will come your way when we get the second quarter underway. First quarter belonged to the Marcus Marauders. They lead the 5A Division II Texas Bowl 19-0.
Need a holiday from the holidays? Let Sonic do the cooking tonight. Everything's made fresh when you order it. Then we serve it up hot, fast, and ready to go.
Like our $2.49 Steak and Ring Special, featuring our handmade onion rings, hot, sweet, and crispy. And don't forget to try our new Oreo Mint Holiday Shake.
The 5A Division II Texas Bowl on Fox Sports Southwest is brought to you by Diamond Shamrock. All you need for gas and groceries. Greg Wade, Bucky Richardson, Jim Knox with you from the Astrodome in Houston. Second quarter. First quarter went the way of the Marauders and then some at 19-0. Hastings certainly had its opportunities. A drop touchdown pass, a fumble return for a Marcus touchdown, and a kickoff return for a touchdown by Hastings nullified because of a holding penalty, and now the Bears must punt. This kick by Torres is a short one, and David Ellen just gets out of the way before it takes a Hastings hop right over the 30-yard line. Let's go down to Jim Knox on the sidelines.
Okay, Craig, this is Roland Mendoza. He represents Dodge, and Dodge a big part of Texas high school football, right, Roland?
Absolutely. I mean, you can just see by all the excitement going on here right now. Last night at the Astrodome, last week at the Astrodome, Texas Dodge dealers are extremely excited to be part of this sponsorship.
Okay, talk about the Lone Star Cup given out by Dodge.
The Lone Star Cup presented by the Texas Dodge dealers will be awarded to the top high school in each of Texas' 5 division classes, and it will be based on an accumulation of points in boys and girls sanctioned UIL athletics based on state, district, and regional competition.
What a great award. All right, Craig.
Thank you very much, Jim. And here's Steven Ennis turning the corner. And Ennis all the way out to the 41-yard line. Give him 11 yards and a Marauder first down. Well, that's a tough guy to stop, isn't it, Bucky, when he turns the corner like that?
I tell you, well, the great thing about the offense they run is with all those receivers, the defense is so spread out. So really there's a lot of holes there that otherwise wouldn't be there if you had your tight ends and things. You see here Jack Reniger doing a good job of blocking, just one of the many Marcus offensive linemen that have had such outstanding here. And Ennis does the rest, stiff-arming guys as he continues to rack up yards.
Quite an overwhelming number there in your total yards. Stack looking for more. And that one's incomplete. Pass over the middle broken up by Brittain Dania, the weak side linebacker. In the playoffs, Dania, this is in the postseason alone, 5 games, 49 tackles, 2 quarterback sacks, 5 fumbles caused, a fumble recovered, and an interception.
I think you could say he's one of those players that rise to the occasion. In crunch time, Brittain has stepped up and done the job.
Spencer Stack so far has had decent numbers. You see them there. The one interception, of course, put Hastings in great field position, but they couldn't capitalize. Here's Stack to throw again, and incomplete. Tipped at the line of scrimmage. Ricky Cash, the defensive tackle, got a hand on the football.
Craig, going back to when I used to play in the run and shoot, this is the only downfall of having to throw the football so much. When you get a big lead, you still have to throw the football. So if you throw it incomplete, you stop the clock. You really help your opponent in a lot of ways because you can't grind it out methodically down the football field. So that's something that Hastings, I'm sure, is aware of, and they can't lose sight of that. Marcus still has to air it out. They still have to put it up in the air.
And they certainly will do that on 3rd down and 10 with the 4 wide receiver set from the shotgun. Pressure coming over the middle and incomplete. And the Hastings linebackers did a good job in covering up the A-back, John Jeffries, who was over the middle, but Stack couldn't lay the ball into him, and Marcus will have to punt the football for the first time today. And so Jonathan Lee, who averages 35 yards per kick, comes on for the Marauders. And Rufus Godley, who had that quirky pop-up kickoff return for a touchdown, only to have it nullified, is joined by Joseph Manjack to return the lead punt. Very high short one, and Godley makes the fair catch at the 33-yard line. 36-yard punt and no return. Marcus on top 19-0 here. We're early in the second quarter of the 5A Division II Texas Bowl on Fox.
Bobby Knight and the Hoosiers head west for the Pete Newell Challenge. Indiana, San Francisco, Monday at 8 on Fox Sports Southwest.
What makes a visit to New Orleans?
Phillips presents The Bee Gees, one night only. Catch their only concert performance of 1997. See it New Year's Eve on pay-per-view. Join Barry, Robin, and Morris as they perform the songs you love, their biggest hits, and songs from their new album, Still Waters. Plus a special guest appearance by Celine Dion performing Immortality. Phillips presents The Bee Gees.
With 2,000 vehicles available, Huffines has it during our grand finale year-end super sale. Get tremendous discounts on every Chevrolet car and truck, on every Dodge car and truck, Subaru, and worry-free pre-owned vehicle. Plus, with these cash incentives and special interest rates, Huffines saves you even more during the grand finale super sale at Huffines Chevrolet Subaru and Huffines Dodge and Dodge trucks on I-35 in Louisville.
Guests wrestle with the tough issues. Plenty of questions. Let's see if Barry's got the answers. The Dallas Cowboys press conference, Tuesdays at midnight on Fox Sports Southwest.
Hastings Bears with their first possession of the second quarter, down 19-0 to Marcus. And Jacob Smith tries to get it going, but hard to do that when the left tackle Derek Lee jumps off sides, or illegal procedure will be the call. Bucky, you mentioned that this Hastings offensive line.
Head ball, false start, offense, still first down.
The false start call, and you mentioned that the offensive line certainly had to do a lot of replacement for head coach Bobby Stewart.
Well, that's probably one position on the field that you really hate to lose, guys, is that offensive line. There's such a chemistry involved there. It's so important, and you hate to lose it.
That's Tharp after faking the reverse to Roper, and Jamil Tharp turns it into a loss of 2 yards as there was no one out front and in front of him, and Skeet Smith just ran him down.
You see here Tharp just on a sweep, and look at the pursuit. Look at all the silver and white jerseys getting to the football, and that's what you call pursuit defense, and Marcus has dominated defensively up to this point.
Though Market is a loss of a yard, so it brings up 2nd down and 16 for the Bears, and you see the troubles they've had on the ground. Troubles as well for Jacob Smith, who goes down, and Larry Skembry is all over him. Another 3-yard loss, and the Marcus defense continues to keep the Hastings offense in the red.
Well, number 55, Larry Skembry here, he just walks outside and blitzes right off the corner. Somebody should be there to pick him up, and Jacob Smith just doesn't have a chance. He doesn't have time to look downfield, to make anybody miss, to move, to run. All he can do is try to avoid somebody and get on the ground.
Larry Skembry, one of those 3 quarterback sacks. He now has 9 for the season, and it brings up 3rd and 19, and 3rd downs have not been kind to the Bears. 0 for 4 in that department. Smith going to go deep. He's got Roper open, who makes the catch, and Roper can turn it into something bigger. Ahmad Roper takes it all the way down to the 18-yard line. That's how you erase negative yardage, Bucky Richardson. A 59-yard pass play to Ahmad Roper.
Well, I tell you, watching Jacob Smith warm up in the pregame warm-ups, I tell you, he has got a strong arm. Just give him a little bit of time. You see here, he throws a perfect pass to Ahmad Roper, who's his go-to guy, his 23rd catch of the season, and Ahmad Roper does the rest. But I think the key for Hastings here is to give their quarterback some time and let him do the things that he does best. Move around, throw the ball down the field. That's what he likes to do. A big play for Hastings.
At a time when the Bears sorely needed one. Down 19-0, early second quarter. And they'll set up with Godley and Manjack, the receivers. Smith to throw again. This time for Godley, and couldn't find him. Godley well covered by Cranack, the left corner. It'll bring up 2nd and 10. And Jamil Tharp will bring in the play from the sidelines. Smith now 2 out of 6 for 66 yards. Of course, he had the big strike there, accounting for most of the passing yardage. Roper and Manjack at the top of your screen. And going for Manjack, who makes a nice catch on a high ball. Joseph Manjack out on the right side. Skeet Smith brought him down. It's a 7-yard gain, but Manjack climbs the ladder to haul it in.
Well, Manjack does a good job of holding on to this football after he catches it. Smith throws it a little high. Manjack says, hey, I'm going up to get it. Skeet Smith comes in and takes his legs out for the nice hit.
I'd say this is a pretty important 3rd down, Bucky, as 3rd downs go here.
They need to put some points on the board right away.
They got 3rd down and a long 3. And the ball is just outside the 12. Back to the other way, and this one, Skembry nearly got it. Rivadeneira made the catch, but this is going to go for a loss of 3 yards. David Ellen on the tackle. Andy Rivadeneira, who had 2 touchdown catches a week ago, had to wait on this one. And Bucky, watched Larry Skembry almost come up with the pick here.
Well, this is a good call, I think. It just takes a little bit too long to develop. The screenplay is a great play. Skembry there almost makes the big hit, almost a big interception. Nonetheless, they don't get the first down they were looking for.
Well, it brings up 4th down now, and looks like the Bears are going to go for it here. Down 3 touchdowns. Bobby Stewart knows his team needs a big lift. And they're going to think about it a bit more as they take a timeout. 8 minutes, 43 seconds to go in the first half. Jacob Smith and the Bears have some talking to do.
Hey, when bad things happen in life, you wish you could reverse them. Because when everything you've worked hard for goes up in flames, you just want things back the way they were. We know accidents happen. That's why at Farmers Insurance, everything we do is about getting life back to normal again. Isn't that what insurance is supposed to do? Farmers, get you back where you belong.
Need a holiday from the holidays? Let Sonic do the cooking tonight. Everything's made fresh when you order it. Then we serve it up hot, fast, and ready to go.
Like our $2.49 steak and ring special, featuring our handmade onion rings, hot, sweet, and crispy. And don't forget to try our new Oreo Mint Holiday Shake.
This just in, football legend William Refrigerator Perry is returning to the NFL. They're working out the contract details at this very moment.
Okay, Fridge, here's our demands. 3 submarine sandwiches for every sack.
3 submarine sandwiches for every sack.
Box of cupcakes for every hurry.
And a box of cupcakes for every hurry.
And 2 deep dish pizzas for every tackle.
Fridge, you want to be legit, you got to get the double cheese and the anchovies.
Good point, baby. Man, those guys are good.
Decision time for Bobby Stewart's Hastings Bears. Down 19-0. They go for it now on 4th down, and 6 needed for the first down. Inside the Marcus 15. Smith got a man open. Caught for the touchdown, Marcellus Chapman. What a play. Works for the touchdown strike of 14 yards, and the 4th down gamble pays off.
What a great call this was. Really really the same type of play they tried to run earlier, with Smith spinning to one side of the field and throwing back to the other. This time it works. Chapman's wide open, does a good job getting both feet in for the big touchdown.
That's a big lift, as well as a lift on the scoreboard. Now for the conversion, Jesse Torres. This would make it a 12-point game. And it is. So with 8:37 to go in the first half, Marcellus Chapman on the receiving end of the Jacob Smith 14-yard touchdown pass. And Bucky, the Bears fighting their way back into this one.
Take a look here. Really the same play they ran earlier. This time they throw the play action in there as opposed to Smith just rolling to the right. It works, as we can see there. Easy touchdown for Hastings. Gets them right back in the ball game.
Marcellus Chapman is listed as the backup to Jamil Tharp, the tailback, but they use him in different spots. They'll split him out as a receiver from time to time, and Bobby Stewart will get his quarterback, Jacob Smith, to hand in the football. And Hastings has some momentum now. Now it's up to that Bear defense to see if they can make a stand against Marcus.
Well, I think it's a matter of time before Hastings defensively really gets going. We haven't called Colquitt's name. We haven't called Cibula, Richard Cox. These guys are playmakers, and I look for them to step up and elevate their game here as the game goes on.
We had a look at a must-score scoring drive for Hastings, and they convert. And nice numbers for Jacob Smith on the drive. 4 out of 5 for 76. So at 19-7, the Bears kick off for the first time, and this one is a short one, and that's Skembry, or rather the tight end for the Marauders, Tyler Edwards, who caught the touchdown pass on the return. Out around the 40-yard line, 13-yard return for Edwards. And good field position now for Spencer Stack and the Marauders. I think Hugh Brittain knew that his football team certainly would not have victory totally handed to them, that Hastings would come fighting back. So the Marauders operate from their 42 with the field spread, as they are wont to do with 4 receivers. And Ennis with the call for about 2 before he was popped by Blyden Dania, the weak side linebacker. It's a gain of 2.
Well, I can assure you there is no quit in any of these teams that play in these state championships. There is no tomorrow. There is no game next week to prepare for it or get some guys back. This is a game where you sell out, and you sell out every single play. You don't give up. And I think Hastings and Marcus will show that all afternoon.
Second down and 8. Marcus from the Marauders 44. Stack again gives to Ennis, and nowhere to run this time for Steven Ennis. Richard Cox teams up with the big guy you see there, Robert West, to make the stop. No gain, and it brings up 3rd and 8. You see Ryan Smith there, the ex-receiver, and again the receivers will check in and out for Marcus. Smith on the sidelines right now. And the Marauders will have to go to the air on 3rd down. The A-back John Jeffries in as one slot receiver. And from the shotgun, Stack looks left and got the man in and out of the hands of David Foster. And you can really credit Brian Johnson, the left cornerback, who very nearly came up with an interception. Nevertheless, the job is done by the Hastings defense, and it forces a Marauder punt.
Well, this is just what the doctor ordered for Hastings. Brian Johnson, who leads their team in interceptions with 5, does a good job of breaking that play up. And Rodney Presley almost comes up with a big interception. The tip drill, as they say.
Jonathan Lee's first kick, not a lot of distance on it. Went very high, though, and there was no return. Manjack awaits the punt. Rush coming. And this one's a beauty. Manjack has to field it at his 19-yard line, and he's going to go down, I believe, at the right at the 19. They'll mark it. 37 yards, sky-high punt there. but Hastings will get the ball back. Anthony Kalunga makes the tackle for the Marauders. We'd like to remind you not to miss NBA Most Valuable Player Karl Malone and Atlantic recording artist Neil McCoy as Nolan Ryan takes them wade fishing for the first time. They're fishing the lower Laguna Madre in South Texas for bull reds. It's another hilarious adventure as Nolan, Karl, Neil, and Reese Ryan go sight casting for monster redfish. It's on Nolan Ryan's Outdoor Special Sundays at 5 on Fox Sports Southwest. First down and big defensive play comes for a loss of 6 yards for the Marauders. Sean Fahili in the strong side linebacker, and he makes the sack.
Marcus isn't doing anything special. They're walking their linebackers out to the end of the line of scrimmage and just sending them on a blitz, and nobody's picking them up. Nobody's even seen them for that matter. And Jacob Smith gets hit in the mouth again for the third or fourth time already in the first half.
Now 4 quarterback sacks already for the Marcus defense.
And look for FM Marcus to continue to do that until they stop it. It's been very effective. You're getting a hit on the quarterback, all the things you like to do. And I say Marcus, keep doing it until Hastings has an answer.
Hastings will try to find an answer as the Bears call their second timeout here of the first half. 6 minutes, 13 seconds remaining in the half. Marcus on top 19-7. Remember, this is just the first of a doubleheader. The second game to follow the 4A Division II Texas Bowl. The Denison Yellow Jackets and Lamarck Cougars, they meet for the third straight year in the state title round. They met here 2 years ago. Lamarck won 31-8. They met last year at Texas Stadium. Lamarck won 34-3. Denison brings in the #1 ranked team in the state, a 15-0 record, and a running back nearing 2,500 yards in Chris Robertson to go up against that Black Storm defense of the Lamarck Cougars.
There have been some great stories this year in the state championship games. All the dynasties, so-called dynasties, and the records and the streaks and things. It's just been a great year for high school football in the state of Texas.
2nd and 16 for Hastings after the Bears use their second timeout. And Jacob Smith wants to throw, but in trouble again. Manages to get the pass away, and Roper comes down with a jump ball. Ahmad Roper hauls it in 31 yards when it looked like Richard Grant was setting himself up for the interception.
Jump ball is right here, Craig. Jacob Smith gets a little time, does a good job making somebody miss, buying more time to throw it up, and here, that's a jump ball in center court there, and Ahmad Roper does a good job coming down with the football, and again, making a big play. When I say big play, I mean 40 yards or more. That's what I consider big plays. There's been a handful of those already.
First down. Marcellus Chapman fighting his way just to try to get back to the line of scrimmage. Larry Skembry hits him for a loss of a yard. Chapman, of course, caught the touchdown pass on the last Hastings drive. Clock moves with 5.5 minutes to go in the first half. Marcus High of Flower Mound leading the Alief Hastings Bears 19-7. Hastings, of course, in Alief on the west side of the greater Houston area, and Marcus High northwest of the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. Second down and 11, and this time Smith to throw, and Grant nearly coming up with the interception. He had coverage back on Jamil Tharp, and the rover Richard Grant has been doing just that, roving all over the field here in the first half. Grant, the #3 tackler for the Marauders this season, 64 unassisted tackles and 4 interceptions. Third down and 11 for the Bears. Manjack, one of the split receivers along with Roper. Jacob Smith now trying to come up with another completion. Has Chapman open. This one is intercepted by the Marauders. Looped out on the left side, and Tony Edwards, the sophomore defensive end, dropped back on pass coverage, and the defensive end, the sophomore Edwards, comes up with the interception.
This is just a poor decision by Jacob Smith here. He's got pressure. Whenever you throw anything that is an out cut, meaning a 5-yard out route, 10-yard out route, a deep comeback, you can't throw it late and you can't float it. And Jacob Smith here threw this ball late, and he floated it out there. 9 times out of 10, the result is going to be just what happened, an interception.
And the one thing you don't want to do is give Spencer Stack the football at midfield. Only with half the field to negotiate, but on first down, nice defensive play as Terrence Colquitt bats the pass away. It's a nice moment for a sophomore, isn't it? Tony Edwards had the interception. And that's how big turnovers can mean in a Texas Bowl. 12 points off the 3 Hastings giveaways.
It's funny you say that. You ask every high school head football coach, give me one of your keys to the game, and every single one will say turnover.
Inside route run this time for Jeff Schaefer. And Schaefer turns that upfield and picks up a first down. Nice run after the catch by Schaefer for 11 yards and a Marauder first down before Eric Crosby, the linebacker, makes the tackle.
This is just a quick screen out to the split end. Here Jeff Schaefer does a good job trying to avoid his own blockers. His big lineman trying to get out there to help him out. Does a good job of getting some extra yards. Take another look here. Just a simple little play, high percentage pass. Schaefer does a great job reading his blocks, getting up the field.
Also did a good job to get out of the way of Lucky Ivy, the right tackle. Pick up the first down. That's the first completion for Spencer Stack this quarter. 1 out of 6 here in the second period. Ennis stepping his way through traffic and then plowing forward for a gain of nearly 10 yards. Charles Albert, the linebacker, made the tackle, but Steven Ennis is close to another Marauder first down. And wouldn't the Marcus Marauders love to get another touchdown here before the intermission and get it back up to a 3-touchdown lead.
Marcus does such a great job of I think they lull everybody in the stadium to sleep. They throw the ball so much. You're expecting all these people going out in the routes, but you can't forget about Steven Ennis because he loves to carry the football.
And he's done it to the tune of 6 yards per carry. 9 carries for 54 yards to this point for Steven Ennis. Picked up 9 there, and on 2nd and 1, Stack's going to go deep. This time for the touchdown. Ryan Smith slipped behind the defense, 30 yards, and the Marauders back in control.
Talked about pass protection, and I'm going to go ahead and credit the offensive line for making this touchdown possible. Spencer Stack is able to step up in the pocket and find a wide open Ryan Smith down the middle of the football field. I'll tell you, the offensive line, Lucky Ivy, Danny Murphy, Josh Raybuck, Renegard, Jenkins, these guys are doing a great job protecting their quarterback, Spencer Stack.
On for the conversion, Kelly. It's good. 3:45 to go in the first half, and it's right back to a 19-point Marcus Marauder advantage. 26-7. Late in the first half. You saw Q Brittain come over and slap his right guard, Jack Renegger, on the shoulder pad and say, good job. Like you, Bucky, he noticed the work of the offensive line that gave that guy time to throw.
I tell you, as a quarterback, all you want is 3 seconds, and that's about as long as a defensive secondary can cover 4 or 5 receivers downfield. And if you continue to give Spencer Stack 4 and 5 seconds to throw the football, it's going to be a long, long afternoon. I look for Colquitt and Cibula to do some different things. They've got to free themselves up and make some big hits on Stack, create some turnovers, create a little havoc in the backfield. So far today, they haven't been able to do that.
There's that offensive line, and there's Spencer Stack. And let's go down to Jim Knox.
All right, Craig, that was a 55 post. In fact, Ryan Smith was Spencer's first option. He told me he hasn't been going to a second or even third option anytime today. It's always been the first option because his player is so wide open.
Well, it will certainly work there. And it's now a 26-7 advantage. This kickoff, the deepest of the first half, and fielded and fumbled and then picked up one more time by Godley. And that is where the Hastings Bears will have it. That was Ahmad Roper who fielded the kickoff there. Ryan Thornton down to make the tackle for the Marauders.
Well, here it looked like this ball was trying to get out of bounds. Need to make sure you grab that football before you take off and run, and Hastings avoids a possible disaster there.
So with 3:36 to go in the half, the Bears have to go back to work, down 19 points once more after that 50-yard drive for the Marauders. And it only took Marcus a minute 16 to move 50 yards. Smith looking deep for Tharp and tipped incomplete. Skembry, the linebacker, going downfield. And Bucky, you're an old quarterback, but you have to have some appreciation for a linebacker who will trundle 30 yards downfield to tip the ball away from a tailback.
We've seen Larry Skembry rushing the quarterback all day. This time, he's 30 yards down the football field, knocking down passes. Larry Skembry showed up today. He's been all over the place, having a great afternoon.
Well, we mentioned the Marcus linebackers. 3 of the top 4 tacklers are linebackers, and Skembry has 66 unassisted tackles, but he does a good job in tipping that one away. It is 2nd down and 10. And trouble again for Smith. Gonna go down, and guess who? Larry Skembry. Another tackle. Loss of 7 this time after he went all the way downfield to tip the pass away, and he gets the sack here.
What a game he's having this time. He does exactly what we've been talking about. Goes out to the end of the line of scrimmage and just comes on an all-out blitz. Nobody's there to pick him up. There the offensive lineman tries to get him, does a good shoestring tackle. I tell you, what a great day he's having.
Got past Waldir Vasquez to come over and make the stop, and now it is 3rd down and long. And it has been a long first half for Hastings, especially in the 3rd down department. Of course, they converted a 4th down for their first half touchdown. This off the option, but Chapman has nowhere to throw. And it does throw, and it's intercepted. Picked off by the Rover, Richard Grant. Marcellus Chapman saw he had nowhere to throw off the option, threw it anyway. And Grant comes up with the 4th Hastings turnover of the first half.
Well, this is a gutsy call deep down in your own territory. Chapman doesn't get to throw the ball that much. Here, just throw it away. Throw it away. Avoid the big sack. Avoid the big loss. There he makes a big, big mistake. Throws it right to Richard Grant. Now you give Marcus the ball inside the 20-yard line. Not very good.
And a chance for the Marauders to blow it wide open here before the half is done. Ennis turning the corner. Ennis with a 1st down for Marcus. Down inside the 10-yard line goes Steven Ennis. He might have stepped out just before the 1st down marker, about 9.5 yards on the play. Terrence Colquitt shoved him out just prior to the 1st down marker.
I knew he reminded me of somebody. Roger Craig. I'm sure you remember that guy that used to play for the 49ers. Picking those legs up, high stepping, getting north and south, making good things happen. Steven Ennis, Roger Craig, I think what do you think?
Not a bad comparison. This guy has run the ball well in the first half, obviously. 2nd and a yard to go. And it's Ennis again for the 1st down and fighting for more yardage down to the 5-yard line. 4-yard gain. And with the clock moving, they'll stop it as they move the chains, but it's 2:20 to go in the half, and Marcus has to be enjoying this, Bucky, a chance to run the clock down more late in the half and perhaps end the drive with a touchdown.
Well, they've already got a real nice lead, to say the least. And here with 2 minutes left in the first half, down inside the 10-yard line, they're feeling pretty confident, feeling good about what they're trying to do. And you can see Hastings is starting to push and fight a little bit, probably a little frustrated.
This time, the first time we've seen this today, going out of power I set, and there's some confusion as flags go down. It's not often that Marcus will load up 3 guys in the backfield. And I believe this is going to cost the Marauders 5 yards. Charlie Thomas, our referee, will sort it all out. 2:03 remaining in the half.
Hey, Charlie! Foul. Substitution infraction on the defense. Half the distance penalty.
Well, it goes from bad to worse for Bobby Stewart's team. And he'd like an explanation. So that moves it down inside the 5, where it'll be First and goal, just outside the 2. And the penalties certainly have hurt the Bears as well. One wiped out a touchdown on a kickoff return. First and goal from the 2. Ennis, not much there. In fact, might have lost a yard. Eric Crosby was there. Charles Albert helped to finish it off. You know, we were talking about Q Brittain congratulating his offensive line on that last touchdown drive. He's an old offensive lineman as well and a former offensive line coach or offensive lineman at SMU in the mid-60s. Played under Hayden Fry. Second and goal from the 3. This time Stack to throw, and the ball is caught for the touchdown. And look who caught it. David Ellen, the linebacker turned tight end. He did it last week against John Tyler in the semifinals, and David Ellen catches one here for 6.
I'll tell you, Craig, in the open, David Allen goes both ways. He plays tight end. As we can see here, he's a heck of an athlete, does a great job. Look at this catch in traffic. Perfect throw by Stack. Nonetheless, David Allen makes a great catch.
Not a bad number there. The catch for the touchdown for David Allen. He had the 3 catches, 1 catch for the touchdown there. And it's Marcus totally in control of this one.
Take another look here. Look at the time Stack has to throw the football. Nobody's within 5 or 6 yards of him. You know, Spencer Stack is an all-state quarterback, and you just can't continue to give him that time to cherry-pick receivers down the football field. There we take a look at David Allen. What a player. 6'2", 6'3", 245.
3-year starter for Q Brittain's ball club. Started on that state finalist team of 2 years ago, as did Steven Ennis. And both of those young men will tell you it was a neat experience to get to go to the state championship. But they came home disappointed from San Antonio, and they wanted more this time around, and they're getting more, including points off turnovers.
Well, we talked turnovers till we're blue in the face, and you saw that graphic. It's so important in any game, much less a state championship game. You just can't give the football away. You've got to take care of the football, protect the football. Turnovers and penalties will flat out get you beat every week.
Come on, Hastings!
Marcus to kick it off again. Extra point, by the way, was no good that last time out, and so that's why we're still at 32-7. And the kick fielded by Tharp at the 11-yard line. Jamil Tharp close to the 30-yard line, and after the 19-yard return, Chip Burt on the tackle for Marcus. It'll be Hastings with the football. 32-7. Marauders on top.
Greg, I must say, very, very impressed with Marcus. They're a quality football team. They've got the special teams, offense and defense. I tell you, they are very, very good, very impressive.
About the only complaint if Q Brittain could even muster up a complaint is that his team's missed a couple of extra point kicks, but it's of little consequence at the moment. You saw the overwhelming total yardage numbers, and on first down, the fullback, Nick Jones, on the carry for a gain of 2. Chris Bellows made the tackle. Coming up at halftime, we'll check in with the clubhouse. Kevin Eschenfelder tell you what else is going on. Quite a story here in the Astrodome last night with the Sealy Tigers winning an unprecedented 4th consecutive state football championship. That's never happened before in 11-man football. Happened once at the 6-man level. Big carry here by Williams, and Kilmick Williams, the senior fullback, takes that one for 15 yards and a Bears first down, but just 24 seconds remain in the first half. Hastings will have to hurry because now the clock will move. Bears have 1 timeout left. That was the biggest run in the first half for a Hastings back. Williams again with running room and brought down, and the clock is going to run, and Hastings coaching staff trying to get the attention of their players. They do, and the timeout is called with 6 seconds to go. Richard Grant made the tackle after the second run for Kilmick Williams, this one for 5 yards. 6 seconds to go in the half. And that last timeout of the first half taken by Hastings will give Bobby Stewart the opportunity to talk to Jamil Tharp and also to his quarterback, Jacob Smith.
You know, I talked to Coach Stewart earlier in the week about the type of season they've had and where they started and how they developed and improved and things. And I said, Coach, you know, a lot of people didn't expect y'all to be here, and people think that your football team is happy to be here. And he said, hey, look, Bucky, we've been to the playoffs 6 of the last 8 seasons. We know what it's like. We know what the playoff atmosphere is like. What we didn't expect is to go through the playoffs like we did, peaking at the right time. Those things just have to fall into place, and chemistry has a lot to do with that. But he said, as far as this, we don't expect to be here. Heck, we've been in the playoffs the last 6 out of 8 years. We're a playoff team. We know what it's like. We earned this spot.
Well, they did. It's just it had been kind of surprising to many for them to get all the way to this level. You know, Hastings has been around for 30 years, the high school, and overall, over the course of 30 years, their actual all-time record is sub 500. They went a long time between playoff appearances between the late 60s and the early 90s. But since then, as you mentioned, Bobby Stewart has done a tremendous job. Jacob Smith will go to the air if he can find the time. He does. And this one's incomplete, and that will do it for the first half. Grant dropped back on coverage. Jacob Smith has been under the gun in the first half, as have the Hastings Bears. It's a red and silver swarm right now that has Marcus on top. Let's go down to Jim Knox.
All right, Coach, I know this is not the way you wanted it to end at halftime, but yet turnovers the key reason why Marcus goes into halftime leading by 25.
Yeah, we've just made a lot of mistakes. We've given them a lot, and they're too good a football team. You give them something, as good a football team as they are, and you're going to be in trouble, and we're in trouble right now. We're going to get in here and try to regroup and see if we can make a gain out of the second half.
You plan any changes in the second half?
Well, we just got to execute what we do. You know, we've made a lot of mistakes here and kicking game and giving them fumbles, and you know, we've had a couple opportunities on turnovers and gotten them called back or whatever, but we just got to quit making mistakes and play our game. You know, we're a better football team than this, I feel like.
Thanks for the time, Coach. Best of luck in the second half. Right now, let's kick off our halftime activities as we throw it to Kevin Eschenfelter in the clubhouse. Kevin?
All right, thank you very much, Jim Knox. Kevin Eschenfelter, as Jim Knox said, back with you here in the clubhouse. We're going to take you through the halftime and tell you everything going on in this game. We'll do that when we take a look at the halftime highlights. When we come back in just a moment, we'll also take a look at the Farmers' Road to the Texas Bowl, as well as our Gatorade coach that makes a difference. It's all coming up at halftime. We're going to take a break. The score at the Astrodome, Flower Mound Marcus out on top of Alief Hastings at the break, 32-7. Stick around. We'll be back with more. Flower Mound Marcus making a statement. The Division II, 5A Division II state championship game at the Astrodome here on Fox Sports Southwest. And Flower Mound Marcus leads it 32-7 at the break. Kevin Eschenfelter back with you. Time now to take a look at our first half highlights. And as you may expect, it went pretty much the way of the men in the white jerseys. Let's start off with Bobby Stewart, the head coach of the Hastings Bears, looking on and didn't like the way things looked early on. Steven Ennis back to pass, the left-hander, biding his time, finding Ennis, and Ennis right off the turf. He's going to take it for 19 yards. It's kind of the way things went early on. As I said, it should have been Spencer Stack throwing that pass, of course, and then Stack again back to pass. Again, finding the open man. Tyler Edwards takes it into the end zone, 7-0 early on. Marcus on top. Hastings would try to come back. Jamil Tharp back to pass, looks and throws what would be a touchdown pass, but just off of Tharp's hands. Drops the touchdown pass. Then Stacks will come back again. His pass tipped and picked up. Kabina Amu giving Hastings some life. Abu would take it down to the 3-yard line, but that's about all that Hastings would be able to get at it after a couple of bad tries. Then on third down, again, ball knocked away. McNeely would pick it up, and Tim McNeely going to rumble 80 yards all the way in for the Flower Mound Marcus score. And the Marauders on top 13-0 on the ensuing kickoff. Marcus kicking off.
Just as Marcus throws the football, turnovers can happen at any time.
And who's got it?
So
I don't have it. You don't have it. After all of this, Flower Mound Marcus would end up with the football again, and it again would end up with another touchdown pass. Spencer Stack handing this one off rather than a touchdown run. And Steven Ennis, the 20-yard touchdown run, made it 19-0. But again, Hastings trying to come back again on a 3rd down and 19.
Smith gonna go deep.
Ahmad Roper catches the bomb from Jacob Smith. Twist off a man, a 62-yard gain as he takes it all the way down to the 17-yard line. That would set things up on a 4th down and 6. Again, Jacob Smith biding his time, finding Marcellus Chapman wide open for the touchdown, converting the 4th down. Hastings finally on the board, 19-7, but from then on out, it was all again Flower Mound Marcus. Ryan Smith on the receiving end of this one got behind the defender, and a 30-yard touchdown pass made it 32-7 Flower Mound Marcus as they lead it at halftime. That gets you up to date on what's going on over at the Astrodome. We're going to take a break. We've got much more to come here at halftime. It's halftime for the 5A Division II state championship game. Flower Mound Marcus leading Alief Hastings 32-7. Stick around. We'll be back with much more in just a moment.
See the dude, be the dude. Whoa. Nothing's more intense than slamming a dude.
Back at the Astrodome, the Flower Mound Marcus Marauder Band performing. And their football team has been performing in the first half. 32-7. Flower Mound Marcus leads it at the break. Of course, that's the 5A Division II matchup, Hastings and Flower Mound Marcus. Let's see what the rest of the matchups on our Farmers Road to the Texas Bowl.
Week 2 Championship Series and their road to the Texas Bowl is brought to you by Farmers Insurance. Let's start in Class 3A. The Sealy Tigers trying for the four-peat meet their old friends from Commerce. For the recap, here's Craig Way.
The Sealy Tigers looking for the unprecedented 4th straight 11-man state football championship. Commerce, they're victims of 2 years ago, trying to end the black and gold dominance. After Sealy's opening drive stalled, Commerce strikes. Quarterback Cornelius Hines connects. Rodriguez Lewis down to the 1-yard line. Mario Sampson would then finish the drive for Steve Lineweaver's ball club. He goes in from a yard out. Tigers on top 6-0. They missed the extra point. Meanwhile, Sealy's starting quarterback Robbie Bozeman had to watch from the sidelines, unable to go. Remember, he had hurt his knee, and backup quarterback Trey Moore in the Tiger offense would struggle early on in this one, unable to get things going. Commerce would lead it 6-0 at the end of the first quarter and a 105-36 edge in total offense. But second quarter, different story. The offense gets going. Brian Johnson on the reverse, and he'll go 50 yards to the end zone. Touchdown, Sealy. Tigers connect on the extra point, and Sealy on top, 7-6. Commerce does try to strike back. First play of the next possession, however, Hines picked off by Sealy's Michael Griffin. That sets up the Tigers in excellent field position. Trey Moore this time with the response. The nice play fake to the air and finds Jason Carr open for the touchdown. Sealy up 14-6. That's the halftime score. Tigers lead it by 8. Third quarter now. And a bit of controversy in this one with Sealy on top, 14-6. Commerce would be driving in the Sealy territory, and it looks like Ryan Ciente has his progress stopped, but the ball stripped from his grasp by Sealy's Chris Davenport. Davenport races 60 yards for the touchdown. Sealy in command at 21-6. Commerce does respond. They come right back down the field. The touchdown by Eric Santee from 4 yards out. Commerce then decides to go for 2. Try to get it back to within a touchdown and an extra point, and it's there on the pass into the end zone, 21-14. But Sealy has the answer. They do turn it around and come right back, and it's Bozeman at quarterback now. The handoff this time to Michael McDonald. He goes 25 yards for the touchdown.
And it's now a 2-touchdown lead for Sealy, 28-14 into the final quarter. After having a 50-yard touchdown pass called back because of a penalty, Commerce still fights back. 1-yard Hines plunge, 28-21 Sealy. Commerce defense digs in, they stop Sealy, and they get the ball back. One final shot, less than 2 minutes to go, and they face 4th down with 1:17 to go with the pass picked off. The 3A Defensive Player of the Year, Adam Zapalak, takes it back, and the 4-peat becomes reality. 4 score, whatever you want to call it. It's 4 straight state championships for the Sealy Tigers. Never been done before in 11-man. It happened at the 6-man level, Fort Hancock from 88 to 91, but it's Sealy, the first team to do it in the 11-man classification in Class 3A.
So Sealy gets their 4th state championship in a row and defeating Commerce twice since 1995. In Class 4A Division II, the second of the Astrodome doubleheader this afternoon has become the rivalry of the 90s. Bob Brown's Denison Yellow Jackets meet defending state champions Lamarck Cougars. For the 3rd consecutive year, these two teams will battle it out to decide who will be the Class 4A Division II state champion. After convincing victories over Fort Worth Brewer and Stephenville, Denison almost met their demise in the regional round, facing a tough Andrews Ball Club at Jones Stadium in Lubbock. Andrews, up late in the 4th, couldn't stop a last-minute come-from-behind touchdown to allow Denison a shot at another chance at a title. Denison quickly dispensed of Sweetwater in the semifinal round, setting up today's standoff with the Cougars of Lamarck. Lamarck, fighting for another district championship, were upset by now what is known as the 97 state champions in Division I in Class 4A, the Texas City Stingarees in Week 6. Lamarck's playoff road led them through El Campo, Friendswood, and in the regional round, a date with the West Orange Stark Mustangs. After an 11-point victory against the Mustangs, many thought LCM, out of the same district as West Orange Stark, would give the Cougs a run. But 41-20 would be the convincing victory and set up an old rival, the Calallen Wildcats, on a sunny afternoon at Buccaneer Stadium in Corpus Christi. At the half, both teams were tied at 3, but the Cougars outlasted the Wildcats with a 13-3 win, and now have advanced to the state championship round to try and make a 4A sweep of both titles for District 23. Today's game, seen here on Fox Sports Southwest, begins at 4 p.m. And the final game of the 97 season will begin at 6 p.m. at Texas Stadium in Irving, the Class 2A Texas Bowl. It features the Stanton Buffaloes against the record-breaking Rogers Eagles. Stanton defeated Shallow Water, Albany, and Post on their road throughout the finals. In the quarterfinal round, Stanton and the Lockney Longhorns met for a great matchup, ending in a close victory for the Buffaloes by a score of 21-20. And last weekend at Homer B. Johnson Stadium in Garland, the Italy Gladiators were the next and final victim en route to a visit to the big dance as the Buffaloes routed the Gladiators 35-7. From Region 4, the Rogers Eagles have just been staying around mostly on impressive offense, designed to exploit the secondaries of their foes. The Eagles, racking up huge offensive numbers in the playoffs, defeated Riesel, Industrial, and in overtime, Refugio in round 3. The Rogers Eagles, led by outstanding quarterback Patrick Hutka and his receiving corps, have brought their aerial attack to Texas Stadium today for the Class 2A Texas Bowl. Kick is at 6 p.m. And that's the Road to the Texas Bowl, brought to you by Farmers Insurance.
And it's worth repeating. Be sure and stick around after today's 5A Division II state championship game. About an hour later, we'll be bringing you the 4A Division II state championship game, the Denison taking on Lamarck. It's all coming up from the Astrodome and all coming your way right here on Fox Sports Southwest. It'll all be starting right at about 4 o'clock. It's 32-7 right now at the Dome. Flower Mound Marcus all over the Hastings Bears at the break. We'll take a break and be back with more in a moment.
If you've been postponing the thrill of driving a new Dodge, we have to ask why. Because by acting right now, get up to $1,000 cash back on America's best-selling minivan, Dodge Caravan. Or choose this Dodge Caravan that's loaded with all these features. Yet at around $17,200, it's still America's lowest-priced minivan. But don't delay, because the thrill of driving a new Dodge may not always be so affordable. See the friendly Dodge.
You know, If more car companies recycled old commercials like us, they too could afford to offer you a deal like this. Get 2.9% APR financing or up to $1,000 cash back on Chevy Camaro. Now, during the Chevy Make Your Money Count year-end event.
It's 32-7 over at the Astrodome, the 5A Division II state championship game. Another reminder, the 4A Division II state championship game, Denison and Lamarck, all coming up a little bit later on right here on Fox Sports Southwest. Congratulations to all those coaches who had great seasons this year. Q Brittain, Bobby Stewart having their teams in the finals again today. TJ Mills with Sealy doing a great job as well. But there's other coaches, too, that make a difference. And let's take a look at the Gatorade coaches in Texas that make a difference.
East Texas native Jack Murphy took a coaching job in Gladewater back in 1965. He's been there ever since, guiding a successful program which has brought a great deal of pride to himself and his community. Coaching was a natural choice for Ross Rogers of A&M Consolidated, who was born the son of a coach during August Two-A-Days in Agadulce, Texas. Today, he's rearing a football program through the growing pains of 4A success into the challenges of 5A. Cal Allen High School's Phil Danaher is the architect of a South Texas dynasty. His Cal Allen Wildcats have won 10 games or more in each of the past 10 seasons in a row, including several seasons in which Danaher coached his own sons. G.A. Moore of Salina High School is the winningest active coach in Texas high school football. Almost all of his more than 300 victories have come close to home for this Pilot Point native who has guided the Bearcats and Salina's Bobcats to state crowns. Volleyball and Arlington Martin High School are synonymous, and Jody McCoy is the only head coach the Warriors have ever had. In 1996, Martin and McCoy won the 5A State Volleyball Championship.
Award for assistance. Help. Thank you.
Pursues history in the 2,000-yard.
It's 5 yards down, carry. 6 man, you can get 40 yards. Easy.
Gordon, Texas, 2 hours outside of Dallas, is the home of the national champion Longhorns. 15 games, 15 wins. Competition.
Last year was...
What?
Activated with the...
Chapel.
Richard Clark.
Nice to meet you.
Losing only 3 games in 3 seasons. In over 30 years as a coach, Bill Smith has been loyal to one school, Aldine High. As head coach of the Mustangs since 1975, Smith has compiled almost 200 victories, including a state championship. Coaching 6-man football may involve fewer numbers, but Guthrie's Harvey Wellman is pulling double duty. On top of being one of the most successful 6-man coaches in the state, Coach Wellman is also the principal at Guthrie High School. Rod Hess has made about a half dozen stops during his 35-year coaching career. Now at Round Rock's Westwood High School, he's raising interest and success, possibly to the level at which he won a state title in 1992 while at Eastland. Coach Norma Pullen is an institution in East Bernard and throughout Texas high school volleyball. Coach Pullen's Bramorettes have captured 13 championships and 20 state tournament appearances, more than any other program in the state. West Texas native Tom Ritchie has been the right man for the job in Sweetwater, where enrollment is small by 4A standards, but tradition is big. Ritchie earned career victory 200 this season while continuing to build the Mustangs' rich football history.
And congratulations to those gentlemen making truly a difference in the most important part, the most important thing we've got going, and that is, of course, our youth. We're going to take a break. It's 32-7 at the Astrodome. We'll rejoin Craig Way and Bucky Richardson, Jim Knox also, when we return in just a moment.
ever just have one of those days? Well, at Farmers Insurance, everything we do is about getting things back to normal. Isn't that what insurance is supposed to do? Farmers, get you back where you belong.
If it weren't for Lowe's Home Improvement Warehouse,
you'd pay more.
If you forgot a tape measure, just use a $1 bill. It's about 6 inches long.
I think I
so
should
2 of them.
Put lip balm on my screws.
It'll go into hardwood a lot
Prices are better than the competition. We check them so we know our prices are low. And if you ever find a lower one, we'll match it, plus take off an additional 10%. I guess they're low. Why do you think we're called Lowe's?
I'm forgetting something.
There's still a few things left in aisle 6.
Lowe's Home Improvement Warehouse is an official corporate partner of the Texas High School Championships.
Next stage, next grade, next wave.
Hold it down, feel the noise. Let them know it's a vibe. Pick it up, it's alive. Move over, yeah, don't do it over. 'Cause it's over, yeah, yeah, yeah. A generation next.
Next stage, next grade, next wave.
Generation next, generation next. Generation next.
Welcome back to our coverage of the Texas Bowl here on Fox Sports Southwest. 32-7, the count at halftime. Phones have been lighting up. You say you've heard enough of me. You want to talk with Jim Knox. So we'll do just that. He's at the Astrodome. Jimmy?
Oh, really? I thought they all wanted to talk to you. Okay, I'll take it away, Kevin. A special guest right here, Rick Fitzgerald for Lowe's Home Improvement Warehouse. And Rick, what a fantastic award you guys give out to the students of the high school that help out with the community.
Well, yeah, Lowe's has a 52-year tradition of recognizing especially students in high schools and their involvement in the communities where they live and how they can band together and really make life a lot more pleasant for folks who otherwise wouldn't have it so good.
Now, some of the criteria for winning the award and handing out the donation to the school would be what?
Well, it's the schools recognizing a family in need or a community project that would help better the community in general. There's a lot of different criteria, but basically it's a school who can demonstrate that the students can band together, work together as a team, which is the home team award, and then donate that time and effort and whatever they raise as far as funds or donations to make that community project better.
Now, this past week you handed out a big award, correct?
Sure did. In Whitney High School, Whitney, Texas. The basketball teams, both the boys and girls, banded together and they adopted a family in Whitney who would have had a much less pleasant Christmas if they hadn't gotten together and made that thing work for that family. They adopted the family and presented that family with the Christmas that they'll never forget.
Okay, Rick Fitzgerald from Lowe's Home Improvement Warehouse. Congratulations on a fantastic sponsor being part of Texas high school football. Right now, let's go back up to Craig Way. Craig?
All right, thank you very much, Jim Knox. And we've talked about the Marauders' dominance. The score certainly would indicate that. But Bucky Richardson, when you look at some of the numbers in this, comparing the quarterbacks and the running backs, you get a real picture of what is going on as Jacob Smith for Hastings has struggled. Spencer Stack for Marcus has been able to find his receivers. And Spencer certainly has had the opportunity not only to find his receivers, he's completed the pass when he's had the opportunity.
You bet. He's 7 for 14 for 105 yards, 3 touchdowns being the big stat there. And Smith for Hastings, he hadn't had much time. He's had 2 big plays throwing the football, and they were jump balls, so to speak, and Ahmad Roper went up and made 2 great plays. But I think this game, first half, has been dominated by Marcus's defense. They've been blitzing a lot, putting a lot of pressure on Smith, and have done a great job of taking Hastings' offense out of rhythm.
Yeah, 58 yards on the one completion you mentioned for Jacob Smith, 31 on the other, and right there, that's a total of 89 yards out of the 115 on 2 passes. Otherwise, they've had problems. Marcellus Chapman, of course, tried to throw the halfback option pass. That one was picked off by Edwards, and that set up the final touchdown on the David Ellen receiving end. And even though it's the holiday time of the year, certainly Hastings does not like to be the one doing the giving.
I think Coach Stewart of Hastings summed it up best. We're playing too good a football team to give them the football, turnovers, all the mistakes, the penalties and things like that. We can't expect to win. And he even mentioned it. Second half, we're going to try to get back in the football game. It's 32-7. Marcus has got a great, comfortable lead, and they're going to have to do some things different and come up with some big plays in the second half to get back in it.
Well, we mentioned that the winner of this afternoon's game will be a first-time state champion. Take a look down the list. You're going to see some other first-time state champions, like Texas City in 4A Division I, won the Texas Bowl in dramatic fashion over Corsicana here in the Astrodome last Saturday. Granger in Class A winning its first ever state title as they won the 1A Texas Bowl 40-0 over Wheeler. That contest in Abilene last Saturday night, and the Coyotes of Borden County, who were 48-16 winners as they won handily in their 6-man battle with Panther Creek. Katy, of course, won its first ever 5A state title right here in the Dome. The Division I crown over favored Longview 24-3. And of course, Sealy, the historic occasion as the Tigers win their 4th consecutive state football championship. Right now, let's go down to Jim Knox.
Coach, heading in the second half, 24 minutes to go. You have to be extremely pleased. You guys capitalized on just about every turnover by Alief Hastings.
Yeah, very happy, but we got to come out and do it again this half. Our defense played great that half, gave the offense some good field position. Offense took advantage of it. We need to do it again. This drive, this opening kickoff, and this first drive is very crucial.
What'd you tell the team at half?
I told them to play like it's 0-0 right now and get after them like they did the first half. We'll be state champions.
Best of luck, Coach. Craig?
Oh, I think that's some pretty wise words there. Play like it's scoreless.
You love those former big offensive linemen. They just tell you like it is. And, hey, we start 0-0. We're in the state championship. Anything can happen, and he hit it on the head. We got to go out and do the things that we did in the first half, in the second half, and simply put, we'll be state champions.
Now, Marcus is going to get the football first to start the second half because they deferred the option after winning the toss, so that makes it all the more tough. You see Steven Ennis there, who had a very effective first half on the ground. Ennis had the 21-yard touchdown run, and he has that look of confidence, but also that look of determination, and you see his numbers there.
Ennis, he got a great first half, and he loves the draw play. 12 rushes. He's averaging 5.5 yards a carry. Had a nice TD run. And Thorpe hadn't done much. Been pretty quiet. They've tried to get him the football through the air more than they have pitching it to him or handing it to him. So look for Thorpe to get a little bit more involved in the second half.
There's Jamil Tharp right there. You heard us talking about Steven Ennis being a 3-year starter. David Ellen. Ellen actually has been starting since he was a freshman. And that says quite a bit. A 4-year starter.
That's
that veteran linebacker.
That's almost unheard of, Craig. That is hard to do. And being a true freshman, you're just trying to get acclimated to your high school and to get thrown in and start for the varsity football team says a lot about his ability. And we saw the big beard he had. You know, I don't know about you, but I didn't start shaving until college.
Very interesting side here. Now you see Jamil Tharp. He was all by himself. Now the Hastings Bears are just now coming out of the tunnel. You can bet Bobby Stewart had some words to say to them in the second half.
You bet he did. You know, he went in there just like he said he was going to do. We're going to regroup and figure out a way to get back in this football game. We've come too far and won too many football games to lay down, and there's no lay down in that Hastings crew, I can assure you.
Hastings has the 4th largest enrollment in the state of Texas, 4,505 students. In fact, for folks who are not familiar with why the breakdown is as it is in Class 5A, the Division I bracket ostensibly is for the schools with the higher enrollments. That's how it works in the playoffs. 3 teams from each 5A district make the playoffs. The one school out of those 3 with the highest enrollment goes into the Division I bracket. The remaining 2 schools go into the Division II bracket. Doesn't matter what place they finish as long as they finished in the top 3 to advance to the postseason. Well, the interesting element about this is that you have Hastings in the Division II bracket, and Longview and Katy played for the Division I title. Both schools have smaller enrollments than Hastings, and that's happened a lot in the 90s, by the way. It's just worked out that way.
Well, in this particular instance, Alief Independent School District, there's Elsick and there's Hastings. And Coach Stewart was telling me, I was like, well, how does that work out? He said, well, we were talking about community support and having the big followings and things. And he was like, heck, we don't get a lot of kids in our schools because they don't know which school. They're either going to end up at Elsick or Hastings. Their name is simply shoved into this computer, and it kicks them out, and it might say Elsick, and it might say Hastings. So I think that's been a problem, and it's one of Coach Stewart's concerns.
Well, it's very interesting for anyone who's been over there and seen the campuses of Hastings and Elsick. The schools are right beside one another, side by side. In fact, they are connected by an annex. And it's one very long brick annex between the two schools. And there is that Alief spirit, certainly community spirit. But like you said, there's an awful lot of kids going to both high schools. More than 9,000 kids on two campuses adjoined by an annex. Of course, we have the second game coming up, the 4A Division II Texas Bowl. Denison Yellow Jackets, Lamar Cougars meet for the third straight year.
What a football game that's going to be. I'm excited about that one.
I do have a feeling we're going to see a war on our hands. Lamar won the first two meetings, and they won them rather handily. 31-8 here in the Dome 2 years ago, 34-3 last year at Texas Stadium. But this is a much stronger Denison Yellow Jacket team, and even Alan Waddell, the Lamar head coach, will tell you that. That follows the completion of this one. We still have a half of football here in the 5A Division II title round, and Spencer Stack and the Marcus Marauders will go back to work on offense after the kickoff to start the second half by Jesse Torres. 24 minutes of football to go. And right away, the kickoff fielded, and the question was that a fair catch or not? There was some hesitation there as Tyler Edwards fielded the football, and that's what the Hastings coaching staff is asking for. Let's go down to Jim Knox.
All right, Craig, at halftime, Bobby Stewart, Alief Hastings head coach, told his team, I don't want to see anyone give up today. No one gives up, no matter what the outcome of the game is. I want to see 110% by everyone. He also said, you guys have come back before, and you can do it again, so they're expecting a big comeback this second half.
Well, they will try to start it off with a defensive stand. Marcus will have the football after the officials' indication, and they're still trying to decide whether it was a fair catch.
If that wasn't a fair catch, I don't know what it was. He put both hands up in the air clearly.
And it is the violation after the fair catch was signaled by Tyler Edwards. I think that Tyler just got a little bit confused after he made the catch, and everybody dropped off, and he started running. But
well, I think he didn't hear a whistle, and that's what probably confused him a little bit. He made the fair catch and caught the ball, but the referee never killed the play. So instincts take over, and you protect yourself and try to get positive yardage.
So the Marauders will operate after their first penalty of the day from their own 9-yard line. And certainly no fear on the part of Marcus as the Marauders spread the field. Now the officials throw flags. It cannot be a delay of game. The play clock still shows 8 seconds. Could be a substitution violation.
Dead ball foul. Foul start on the offense. Full first down.
Greg, this is exactly what Coach Brittain, look, you can see he's very upset. This is exactly what he needs to try to avoid. Yeah, we're winning 32-7. We cannot lose our concentration. We have to come out in the second half and reestablish ourselves early and don't give Hastings any breath. And head coaches don't like that. It's just a lack of concentration.
Nose of the football inside the 5-yard line now, and Marcus easily in its worst starting field position of the afternoon. First down and 15 after the penalty. Ennis, the pitch out from his own end zone, and picks up a couple. And Emmanuel Agiotto came over to make the tackle. We mentioned that Agiotto had the big fumble return for a touchdown a week ago. Steven Ennis picked up 2 there. It's second down and 13. Just underway, second half, 25-point lead for Marcus at 32-7. Again, you see the Marcus look with 4 wide receivers, 2 inside, 2 outside, and Ennis the lone setback. Stack over the middle. Nice concentration by Jeff Schaefer to make the catch, although he really took a pop from Rodney Priestley, the free safety. It's a pickup of 8, and now brings up 3rd and 5.
Stack's been doing this all year long. Here, a good 5-step drop, hits on the 5th step, delivers the football. Schaefer does a great job of holding on to that football. He got hit as soon as it hit his hand.
Second catch of the day.
Still in a little pain over there on the sideline.
3rd and 5 for Marcus. Hastings would love to pin the Marauders back deep here and force a punt. Ennis trying to bounce Ennis outside, and he is short of the first down. Colquitt and West. West with the first hit. Colquitt to finish it off, and Marcus will have to punt. It's only a 2-yard gain.
I tell you, I've been wanting to say Terrence Colquitt all afternoon. Hadn't really had that many opportunity here. He's battling Danny Murphy every single play. Does a good job, comes off and finishes that play off. But Terrence Colquitt and Nick Cibola need to get more involved, need to get creative or do whatever they have to do to make some big plays for that defense. They have set the tone for that defense all year long, and Marcus has done a good job of settling them down.
Punting time for Jonathan Lee. He gets away a nice kick, but it is returnable. And it is brought back by Godley. Turn in the corner with running room. And Godley is down to the Marcus 40-yard line. 36-yard punt, 13-yard return. Godley shaken up at the end of the play. John Rosenbaum made the tackle for the Marauders. And see Rufus Godley down on the AstroTurf. Here's another look at the return.
Here they set up the wall, the picket fence, whatever you want to call it. Does a good job of getting it around the picket fence, getting upfield. It looks like he just got hit in the thigh there, and that thing hurts. I tell you, it's like getting a frog on your arm. It kind of makes your arm limp, and same thing for that leg.
So the Marauders give it to Hastings in good field position, and the Bears go right to work. Smith to throw and intercepted on the first play. Down inside the 20-yard line, the pick made by Chris Cranack, the left corner, who came over and picked off his 4th pass of the year, stepped inside of Ahmad Roper.
Well, we'll see Jacob Smith here. Looks right initially, turns around, throws the ball deep down the left side again. This is jump ball. These percentages aren't very good. He got away with a couple early, but this time it goes to Marcus's favor.
Come on, kids, time for dinner.
Okay.
There we go.
Welcome to Sam's Satellite City. May I help you?
I'm interested in DBS.
Direct broadcast satellite. You'll need a dish, a receiver, decoder, some converters, connectors, various and sundry electronic components.
I need all this?
This'll get you started. Say, how many TVs do you have?
3.
Well then, you're just gonna need a few more things, aren't you? There you go. Of course, this doesn't include your monthly subscription fees.
That costs extra?
And if you still want to watch local network programming, you'll also need a regular antenna. We have an excellent selection of regular antennas.
This is it. Village Ford's massive 97 inventory reduction sale. And every car and truck must be sold. Save big on every last vehicle. Get $2,000 off or 1.9% on new 97 Taurus sedans. $1,750 cash back or 1.9% on new 97 Rangers. And an amazing 2.9% on every remaining new 97 F-150 pickup. Ford makes the cars and trucks. We save you money. Village Ford.
Exit 453 in Louisville for your best deal.
The Marauders go right back to work. After Marcus comes up with the interception, Chris Cranack, time of possession certainly misleading this afternoon as it's a 25-point Marauder lead, and here goes Ennis. Steven Ennis up the field and all the way to the midfield stripe before he's finally brought down. A 31-yard rumble for Steven Ennis. Charles Albert, the linebacker, ran him out of bounds.
We'll take a look at Ennis here. He does a little head fake. You can barely see it right there. Blyden Denia bites on it, and it springs Ennis down the sideline. I tell you, he's so subtle and so methodical. He just gets gains and gets yards play after play.
And over 100 yards for the afternoon now is Steven Ennis. That's the way Marcus likes it. Over 100 yards from Ennis, and certainly a lot of yards passing from Stack, who tries to go down the sideline on first down for Ryan Smith, but a nice defensive play by Kabina Amu, who had the interception in the first quarter. Richard Cox, the middle linebacker, might have tipped that pass at the line of scrimmage.
We can see here Hastings' leading tackler, Richard Cox, gets his hands in the face and does a good job. knocking that ball down by a move.
2nd and 10, Marauders from the Marcus 49. 9:13 to go, 3rd quarter, 32-7. Marcus. Once again to throw the ball. Stack got the man wide open. That's Foster down inside the 30 to the 20-yard line. Jeff Schaefer rather on the catch. Jeff Schaefer goes 22 yards, his 3rd catch of the day, and after taking a pop in the back on the 2nd catch, he makes a big grab here.
Again, I don't want to beat a dead horse, but look at the time Stack has is sitting there in the pocket, throw the football. Schaefer is wide open, and that's what's so unique about this offense they run. Yeah, if I tell you to go run a 10-yard curl route and you have to break it off a little bit to the inside to find the open hole, that's what you do. You find the holes, you find the seams, and it is very, very difficult to defend.
Schaefer's back bothering him a little bit as he comes over to the sidelines. It's a 1st down for the Marauders at the Hastings 29. And off the fake, Stack will go to a wide open Ennis and makes a nice move. Ennis still on his feet and a 1st down to the 15-yard line, giving 14 more yards. And again, Steven Ennis doing a lot after the catch was made. Richard Cox makes the tackle for Hastings, but not before Ennis makes a nice move.
Well, this time Hastings sends everybody. They've been dropping 8. This time they send 8. Stack does a good job of getting it out to the flats to Ennis, and watch, he gets hit there initially and ends up getting 10 more yards after he's initially contacted. So that tells you a lot about what kind of running back he is.
He has caught 2 passes for 33 yards today, in addition to rushing for more than 100. And here he comes again. Ennis still going inside the 5 and down to the 2-yard line. 13 more yards for Steven Ennis. Rodney Priestley, the free safety, on the tackle.
I tell you, these wide receivers for Marcus catch a lot of footballs, but they also are coached to block. You can see there Schaefer, 82, throwing the key block to spring Ennis down inside the 5.
That's one tough young man also, Jeff Schaefer, to take a couple of shots in the back and get out there on a block. You see this guy has been all over the place. Steven Ennis from the 2. This time it's Ennis to finish the drive. Touchdown, Marauders. Steven Ennis, his 2nd of the day. And now 116 yards rushing to go with 33 receiving.
Take a look at the power of eye. You won't see much out of Marcus running that, but it looks to me, Craig, that it's getting awfully easy to move the football for Marcus here to start the 2nd half. And this thing is getting out of hand, and Hastings, I think, instead of dropping 8 defenders, needs to start blitzing a lot more and trying to get a hit on Stack and cause some turnovers that way.
This extra point by Kelly is good. That's been about the only adventure Marcus has had this afternoon, is the point afters, but that one's good. 32 points off the Hastings turnovers. And here's the latest. Ennis into the end zone. Brittain is not about to relax, despite the fact his team is comfortably in front, 39-7, an 82-yard, 6-play drive after the Hastings turnover, and Steven Ennis finishes it with a 2-yard run. Jamil Farp on the kick return, out of the 25 and out to the 29-yard line, 22 yards on the return, and that is where the Bears will start offensively again. We've talked about the Marcus dominance in the playoffs. They really got a scare from the MacArthur Cardinals in bi-district. They were down early in that game, came back and won, and then since then, no one's really even been close to them. Halton was undefeated, and Spencer Stack had a wild afternoon in the Cotton Bowl. They took care of Amarillo High at Texas Stadium, went on the road to beat Cooper, and Cooper, of course, was a 5A Division II state finalist a year ago, and John Tyler was #1 in the state for 6 weeks this season in the AP Top 10 poll, and the Marauders made it look easy. Much like they're doing this afternoon on first down, the pass over the middle to Regan Nanera, the tight end, and he picks up the first down, 13 yards on the strike from Jacob Smith. Lucas Prater, the tackle.
Take a replay, just play action pass with the option. Smith's looking downfield all the way. We'll see here number 24, Lucas Prater, delivering the blow there. That had to hurt. And Craig, he is a freshman. Lucas Prater is a true freshman, starting on what it looks to be like a state championship.
You know what's interesting, Bucky, is, and you look at Rivadeneira, that is a 200-pound senior tight end taking a hit from a 155-pound freshman.
I'll tell you, that says you're starting as a freshman on a team the caliber of Marcus. You're doing something right, along with his teammate David Ellen.
Well, Lucas Prater has over 90 tackles. Here's a fumble on second down. Tharp lost it. Marauders have it. Coming up with a big number 77, Chris Bellows, the senior tackler, comes over to pick up the 6th Hastings turnover of the day.
Chris Bellows isn't a guy we hadn't talked a whole lot about today, but he's the guy up front that they really count on to give him that leadership and that big play, tight player up on the defensive line there. He gets a nice fumble recovery. And Hastings is, you know, they can't quit, but they're getting awfully sloppy, and they might be looking up at the clock a little bit too much.
Marauders have it just shy of the Bears' 40-yard line. Stack with the quick drop, a little too quick out there for Jeff Foster, the Z back. And David Foster wasn't ready for the pass from Spencer Stack. 6'2" and 195 pounds, good size, outstanding arm. You think he can play on Saturdays?
I think so. I tell you, he's got the arm strength. He's got the poise. He's got all the intangibles that you look at in a high school quarterback. And a lot of quarterbacks don't develop those intangibles at such a young age.
2nd and 10. And the pass this time behind and away from John Jeffries, incomplete. And of course, Bucky, you brought it up earlier, when a pass-oriented offense gets out to a big lead, of course, they're still going to throw the football, and sometimes even when they like to run the clock, they'll get incompletions and the clock will stop. But Marcus
that's probably the most difficult thing about running an offense like that. It's hard to keep leads, and you give teams opportunities to get their hands on the football and try to make plays that way.
Of course, as you look there, 32 of the 39 Marcus points have come off turnovers, and it's been the Marauders who have been opportunistic. On 3rd down, the swing pass for Ennis is away from it and incomplete. And that's the first 3 and out we've seen from the Marauders in some time, and they'll have to punt it away. So Bobby Stewart's ball club will get possession, and the punt will come from the senior Jonathan Lee. As we approach the midway mark of the 3rd quarter. This will be the 4th kick of the afternoon. Lee has put 9 punts inside the 20-yard line this season, and he'll try to get his 10th right here. Marcus Marauders likewise will be 14-2. The difference, that man gets to celebrate his first ever state championship. The Marcus Marauders will be champions of 5A Division II. They take the Texas Bowl here in the Astrodome, 59-20, a record-setting point total. Spencer Stack, the quarterback, had a lot to do with it, and the frustration has ended.
I tell you, it's hard to get those big former offensive linemen to smile, but I saw a little one there on Coach Brittain's face. He's got to be awfully proud of his team.
This is a guy who has worked very, very hard to build the program from scratch. High school open, and after it opened, they did not start varsity football until 1986. This is only the 12th season of varsity football for Marcus, and the Marauders have a state title of their own now. Right now, let's take you down to Jim Knox, who's in the midst of the celebration. Jim?
Yeah, very hectic around the field. Congratulations, Coach Brittain. First off, this is Mark Cousins with the UIL, who will present the 5A championship trophy to Flower Mound Marcus.
Coach Brittain, on behalf of the University Interscholastic League and the 1,000 schools participating in football, it's an honor to present your team with the 1997 Class 5A Division II state championship. Great, congratulations on a great year, Coach.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Coach, congratulations. I know know 2 years ago you guys got close. Today you get to bring home the hardware.
Oh, it feels great. It feels great. Our kids played great all year and really came out and played good today. Feels great.
Talk about this afternoon's game. It seemed like you guys jumped out on top first, mainly because you capitalized on the turnovers. You took a good, comfortable lead going into halftime, and you cruised to victory.
Yeah, our defense gave us the ball in good field position, made a great goal line stand down there, and turned that into a touchdown. And we were just determined when we came out here, and we stayed that way the whole ball game.
Everyone knows about where he gets the kiss from his wife. Everybody knows about the offense as far as the passing game, but what a job Steven Ennis did.
Oh, he had a great day. I don't know how many yards he had, but he had a great day, over 200. He finished it with that touchdown run at the end. He's been a great player for us for the last 4 years.
And we talk about the offense. How about the defense? They just about closed the door tight today, didn't they?
Yeah, they did a great job. They threw the ball on us and made a couple plays on us, but defense shut them down for the most part.
Your first state championship at Marcus. How are you going to celebrate this one?
Oh, it's going to be a lot of fun. A lot of fun.
Okay, congratulations, Coach. Go celebrate. Craig?
All right, thank you, Jim Knox. Q Brittain gets a chance to enjoy one of his own, as do the fans of the Marcus Marauders, 5A Division II state champions. Final score this afternoon is 59-20.